Thank you so much for joining us for Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. On today's program, we highlight the observance of the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade, reflecting on history, honoring resilience, and recognizing the lasting impact of this tragic period on Jamaican society. Stay with us.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, March 25, 2026. The Special Consumption Tax SCT on non-alcoholic sweetened beverages will now be based on the sugar content. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, announced in Parliament yesterday that the government had revised its earlier intent to levy the tax on the volume of the drink. While closing the 2026-2027 budget debate, she indicated that the SCT will be applied at a rate of 22 cents per gram of added sugar. The new tax will go into effect on May 1, 2026 instead of April 1 and is estimated to raise $10.1 billion towards government's budget for the fiscal year.
We are a listening government. We listened to the various representations, clearly assess them, and where they have merit, we act. This change will require some lead time for manufacturers, importers, and our tax administration to prepare. The logic of this design is simple and principled. It is the sugar that causes the harm, so it is the sugar that should be taxed.
Minister Williams says the application of the tax will be monitored, including its effect on prices, consumption patterns, reformulation decisions, and on public health outcomes. She adds that a working group, which consists of the Ministries of Health and Finance and the manufacturers, will continue to meet during the year to work towards the tiered system of taxation that beverage manufacturers have requested.
To manufacturers and importers, the message is straightforward. Reduce the sugar in your products and the tax burden falls. The government is not seeking to harm a sector that employs thousands of Jamaicans.
At the same time, she is urging Jamaicans to make informed decisions about the products they consume and the implication that it will have on their health.
To the Jamaican public, I ask you to consider there's hardly a family in this country that has not been touched by diabetes, hypertension, or obesity. Every informed choice at the shop counter is an act of investment in your own health and in the health of this nation.
Meanwhile, the finance minister is raising concerns about a loophole in Jamaica's de minimis import policy, which allows certain low-value packages to enter the country duty-free. Under the policy, packages valued at $100 or less can enter the country without duties. But Minister Williams says some consumers are splitting online purchases to avoid paying taxes and duties. She argues that the practice has created an unintended consequence, with the government losing potential revenue from imported goods.
When the de minimis threshold was increased from US $50 to US $100, it was not expected that we would see splitting up of orders to avoid taxes and duties. Take a scenario in which you're ordering 2 items and they cost $100 each. That's a total of US $200. Packaged and shipped in one package of $200, there would be tax on the CIF. Instead, what we're seeing is a splitting of the orders to fall within the US 100 de minimis allotment, and an increase, Madam Speaker, sometimes I could characterize it as a deluge in the number of US 100 and undervalued packages.
The government is moving ahead with the Vernon Field Light project, a phased rehabilitation of the existing airstrip in Clarendon to create an international aerodrome capable of accommodating large commercial aircraft. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, during his recent contribution to the budget debate, insisted that Jamaica's aviation connectivity cannot depend solely on its 2 coastal international airports.
This means that in the event of a hurricane, earthquake, or other disaster that renders Norman Manley or Sangster International Airport inoperable, or both, Jamaica will have an inland facility capable of receiving wide-body jets, humanitarian relief aircraft, cargo planes, and military transport.
Beyond disaster resilience, the project will support a range of aviation activities.
For example, providing dedicated facilities for international private jets, purpose-built hangar facilities, aviation training and certification, as well as serving as the Maritime Air and Cyber Command base for the JDF.
Plans for a new aggregate export port in St. Thomas are being expanded to add capacity for mixed usage similar to the Reynolds Pier in St. Anne. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the intent is to have this serve as a critical backup to the Port of Kingston in the event of a major disaster, while simultaneously driving economic growth and creating much-needed employment opportunities for the people of St. Thomas.
Hurricane Melissa served as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of Jamaica's southern coastal line and the existential threat that a direct strike on Kingston would pose to the Port of Kingston, and by extension to the nation's ability to recover from any such disaster.
Subject to more detailed feasibility studies, the Port Authority of Jamaica has identified a site near Yallus for the new port. This site reportedly benefits from adequate coastal depth for vessel berthing, proximity to established quarry operations, and road access via the newly completed highway. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says NARA will be moving decisively to finalize the designs and implement a solution for the inadequate drainage on Marcus Garvey Drive.
The National Works Agency, in collaboration with local and international consultants, has completed comprehensive studies for a drainage system designed to efficiently convey stormwater to Hunts Bay.
This is in line with the plans for the realignment of Marcus Garvey Drive to the northeast of Tinsonpen and the incorporation of the Tinsonpen lands into an expanded near-port logistics corridor as part of expansion works for the Port of Kingston. In other news, 4 fishers from St. Mary and Portland are back at sea after receiving new boats and engines. It's part of government's push to restore livelihoods after Hurricane Melissa caused damage to more than 3,000 vessels island-wide. The boats were handed over to beneficiaries from fishing beaches in Onoto Bay, Bryans Bay and Hope Bay in Portland, as well as Aracabessa in St. Mary during a recent ceremony at Padgy Beach in that parish. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green says the initiative falls under a $66 million fisheries production incentive program targeting young fishers. 9 of 20 boats have already been distributed through the program. 25% of the vessels are being allocated to women in a bid to improve access and participation in the industry.
But this is not just giving a boat for giving a boat's sake. Part of what we've done is to try and ensure that we're giving you the tools that you can go further out and can engage in more pelagic fishing. We want you to focus on catching some of the larger species, some of the marlins, the tuna, the mahi-mahi. Why? Because we still import a whole lot of fish. When you go to our hotel sector, they're looking for those types of fish.
The handover also featured the presentation of certificates to fishers who completed post-harvest training supported by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. And finally, the Ministry of Agriculture is calling on consumers to report suspected price gouging on eggs as it works to stabilize the local market. Principal Director in the Agricultural Marketing Information and Incentives Branch, Kevin Kondapa, says egg prices, particularly in western parishes, may be higher due to ongoing distribution challenges.
In a case where we see prices being excessive, I think consumers need to ensure that they make it known, whether through social media or call the ministry to identify where this is happening, but something needs to be done from the consumer level to alert the authorities that this is a situation that they're facing.
Mr. Kondapa was speaking at a recent JIS think tank session. He says egg supplies are steadily improving as the ministry implements measures to recover from significant losses caused by recent hurricanes. Consumers can report suspected price gouging by contacting the Ministry of Agriculture at 876-927-1731 or the Consumer Affairs Commission at 876-619-4222. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
To kickstart today's features, we'll now trace the historic transformation of the former Kingston Racecourse into the National Heroes Park, now a monumental space honoring Jamaica's national heroes, leaders, and fallen soldiers.
For a century and more, you could lay bets on the finest equine legs around Kingston Town. Today, it stands in honor of those who played a heroic role in the development of free, independent Jamaica. If you were living in Kingston in the late 1700s and fancied a day at the races, with enough quid and an eye for the fastest horseflesh, a purse of £100 sterling could be yours for the taking. This was the Kingston Racecourse, and for over a century it was the center for horse racing in Jamaica. It's believed to have been founded in 1783 and purchased by the Kingston Council in 1818 for £985 and 10 shillings. Back then, it was part of a property called Montgomery Pen, but the more appropriate name, Kingston Racecourse, would stick with the downtown site until the dawn of the 20th century when horse racing moved uptown. Throughout the centuries, what is now the National Heroes Park has witnessed many commonplace moments and historic occasions. Jamaicans of the 19th century might have enjoyed a game of cricket, a bit of cycling, or even a traveling circus. On August 2, 1838, newly freed men and women gathered for grand festivities to mark full freedom. Half a century later, their children came out to celebrate Queen Victoria's Golden and Diamond Jubilees. And in 1891, in a building called Quebec Lodge, the Jamaica National Exhibition was staged at this site on the spot of land now occupied by the Woolmer School. In the second half of the 1900s, the Kingston Racecourse was converted into a public park and renamed the King George VI Memorial Park in honor of the British monarch. A decade after Jamaica gained its independence from Britain, 74 acres of land on the former site of the Kingston Racecourse was redesigned and officially renamed the National Heroes Park. The 7 individuals awarded the Order of National Hero now hold permanent pride of place at the park. It's the final resting place for 3 of them: Marcus Garvey, Sir Alexander Bustamante, and Norman Washington Manley. The others, George William Gordon, Nanny of the Maroons, Paul Bogle, and Sam Sharp, are immortalized in works of art. All have monuments erected in their honor. The National Heroes Park is no gloomy graveyard, but it is the burial site for such Jamaican luminaries as past Prime Ministers Michael Manley and Sir Donald Sangster. The remains of other national figures in the arts, politics, and social welfare are also interred in the park. The site also holds a mass grave for 144 elderly men and women killed in a fire at the Myers Ward of the Eventide Home for the Aged in 1980. And in 1953, the Jamaica War Memorial, or Cenotaph, was relocated from Church Street in downtown Kingston to the National Heroes Park. The 1.5-ton cenotaph stands in tribute to those soldiers who died during World Wars I and II. Members of the island's defense force maintain a constant vigil at the cenotaph. And on the first Sunday of every month, there is a ceremonial changing of the guard, complete with music by the Jamaica Military Band. It recognized not just the heroic figures that are entombed or memorialized at the site, but also the many landmark events that continue to take place there, like the December 1976 marriage of music and politics to promote peace.
Said I see you're having fun, rocking to the roots and rocker. Oh, island in the sun.
Are you confident that you are the legal owner of your property? Take action to secure your property ownership. Get a registered certificate of title and become the legal owner of your property. To register your property and obtain a certificate of title, you will need to provide a tax registration number (TRN), a valid government-issued identification, a survey diagram, documentation to prove ownership, up-to-date property tax certificate, the names, addresses, and occupations of 2 neighbors over the age of 50 who are not family members and can give a declaration on your behalf. Proof that you have been in open, undisturbed, and undisputed possession of the property for 12 years or more. For further information on registering your property and obtaining a certificate of title, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us at WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
Up next, we examine the role of the Caribbean Court of Justice as the final appellate court for participating Caribbean nations.
Established to serve as both an appellate court and an interpreter of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, the Caribbean Court of Justice (CCJ) is at the heart of the region's justice system.
The mission of the court is to provide accessible, efficient justice for the people and states of the Caribbean.
A primary goal of the CCJ is to create a judicial system that resonates with Caribbean values and realities.
A Caribbean court, and a Caribbean court that has on it some of the best minds, judicial minds in the region, must be more effective at interpreting Caribbean law than a court that is based in London.
Still, challenges remain. Some Caribbean nations have yet to adopt the CCJ as their highest appellate court. Constitutional hurdles such as parliamentary approval and referenda are major barriers. So far, 5 Caribbean states, Barbados, Belize, Guyana, Dominica, and St. Lucia, have accepted the CCJ as their apex court.
Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada, for example, these countries, their constitutions absolutely require not just a qualified majority in the parliament, a 2/3 majority in the parliament, but they also require a 2/3 majority at a referendum. That's a very steep threshold.
Misconceptions and differing opinions about the CCJ have stalled its expansion. Some believe that judges may be influenced by local politics or are not as skilled as those in foreign courts.
If a dispute arises in the Caribbean, the people who judge that dispute should be able to understand the mores, the aspirations, the culture of the Caribbean in order to give the best possible answer to how judicial policy should be crafted in relation to that dispute, that area of law. The judges on the Caribbean Court of Justice are selected by a very rigorous process. They are independent.
I, Chantal Patrice Anonu.
October 29, 2024. Jamaica's Justice Chantal Ononiwu took her place as one of the region's top judicial minds. Her appointment symbolizes not only the CCJ's commitment to justice, but also the ongoing effort to solidify a Caribbean legal identity.
Taking the oath of office as a judge of a region's highest court is very significant to me personally and professionally. I have a long-standing commitment to regional integration and the development of CARICOM, and I really respect the role, the pivotal role that the Caribbean Court of Justice plays in advancing the rule of law and building Caribbean jurisprudence.
Justice Ononiwu brings a wealth of knowledge to the court, particularly in international trade, a cornerstone of CARICOM law. Her appointment also brings gender balance to the bench, a significant milestone in Caribbean judicial history. She is the third female judge to sit on the CCJ's bench and the second Jamaican to hold such a post.
Women see things, life, through different eyes from men, and in securing justice, it is always good to have both male and female perspectives looking at the same problem.
Beyond her duties on the bench, Justice Ononiwu is committed to legal education, believing it plays a crucial role in the court's mission.
The court has a very important role that it plays with respect to judicial and legal education across the region. And particularly when it carries out those functions, there is widespread engagement with stakeholders across the region. I could mention, for instance, the work of a number of affiliated institutions of the court, like the CCJ Academy for Law, which really does a lot of work with respect to, seeking to advance the development of legal regimes that are supportive of sustainable regional development.
As the CCJ approaches its 20th anniversary, its judges continue to champion a justice system that serves Caribbean citizens. Justice Ononiwu's arrival brings new energy and perspectives, promising a future where justice truly reflects Caribbean values.
My primary goal really is to adjudicate cases fairly, competently, impartially, and with integrity. That really is my primary goal. The decisions that I will make as a judge will impact lives, they'll impact freedoms, they'll impact rights, property.
The Caribbean Court of Justice and its judges remain dedicated to justice for all, shaping Caribbean jurisprudence for generations to come.
The sun is no joke, especially in the middle of the day. So, what do you do to protect yourself?
Slap on some sunscreen that's SPF 30 or higher. Sunscreen should be broad spectrum and water resistant, especially for beach or pool days, and reapplied every 2 hours.
And while you're at it, slip on a shirt to protect your skin. Light, breathable fabrics are best.
Lastly, seek shade between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. because this is when the sun's UV rays are strongest. Skin safety is your safety. Cover up today and try your best to keep cool. Oh, I know I've already said it, but please remember, Not because we're black means we don't need sunscreen. All skin types do.
You know, Trenchtown come like Mecca for music. When you talk about jazz and blues, ska, rocksteady, reggae music, is the birthplace for it right here.
Trenchtown is the cradle for Jamaican music, you know. Trenchtown. Because most of the singers come out of Trenchtown, you know.
Born from the streets of Trenchtown, reggae emerged as the voice of the people, a rhythm of resilience, unity, and pride.
It told our stories, carried our struggles, and shared our triumphs with the world.
Reggae is more than music. It is our soul, our identity, our legacy.
From the elders who paved the way to the youth shaping its future, reggae beats on in every Jamaican heart.
There is a land of pure beauty where blessing awaits for us all. And if your heart is clean, I know you will redeem in the land of the black, gold, and green.
Reggae is the heart of Jamaica. Protect it, preserve it, celebrate it.
From a Jamaican and wider Caribbean perspective, slavery and the transatlantic slave trade refer to the forced transportation of millions of Africans to the region between the 16th and 19th centuries to work mainly on sugar plantations under harsh and inhumane conditions. Enslaved Africans were stripped of their freedom, culture, and rights, yet they resisted through revolts, preservation of African traditions, and the creation of new Caribbean identities. This period shaped the region's population, culture, economy, and ongoing struggles for justice, equality, and development. Thanks for tuning in to another Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow for another lineup geared towards providing you with information on the government's policies and initiatives for building a better Jamaica. You may visit our website, jis.gov.jm, to rewatch this show or to catch up on the others we have on the site. I'm Theodore Henry, telling you thanks for watching from our production team here at the JIS.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.